So this is just a 15-20 minute flow roughly. That's going to incorporate a lot of thoracic extension and some rotation as well. Really bringing our attention into using the muscles to get the bones to move into extension. So this way versus flexion, which would be that way. And we're just gonna kind of flow and play around using all those muscles that kind of surround the thoracic spine. So let's get started on that. We're gonna also focus a lot on the classes, or rather the moves that we did today. So come to the top of your mat. And we're gonna inhale the arms up to the sky. You can incorporate already that thoracic extension here. Don't worry about the ribs here, just feel that movement. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Good. Hang out here for just a second. Let your head drop. You can grab your hands, or rather your elbows here, and just kind of twist, kind of roll back and forth here. Just really feeling your back and your spine heavy here. Good. Bring your hands to the floor and bring your right foot and left foot back into plank. Exhale, find your candles here. Beautiful. Drop the knees to the floor. Shift forward, find that extension. So we're looking for that sort of cow without bringing everything here and just collapsing. We're finding our candles. So we're not over untucking. Find that relatively neutral spine and look for that extension, that cow feeling in the upper back. Exhale, bring your booty towards your heels. Your toes are tucked under here. Arms stay nice and long. Try not to overly tuck your pelvis under, and try not to overly untuck the pelvis. We're just kind of looking for neutral pelvis here. Good. Take a couple breaths here. And your next inhale, come back into plank just for a second, and then downward dog. So while we're in down dog, a couple things I want you to think about. You stay in down dog. I want you to check in with your shoulders, that they're not up to your ears here. And then check in with your elbow pits and see if you can kind of get them to spin forward a little bit without locking in the elbows. So find a micro bend in the elbows if you need that. Good. Notice your shoulders when you do that, when you really spin those elbow pits. They're not going to face the front of the wall. They shouldn't. They're going to face more each other. Good. Beautiful. And then walk your feet up to your hands. Stay in a nice forward fold. And then we're going to stand up to uncurl the spine. We're going to run right through that again. Inhale those arms up. Again, look for that thoracic extension. On the inhale, exhale, forward fold. Good. This time, bring your hands to the floor. Let your left foot and right foot come into plank. Good. Drop the knees here. Booty comes toward the heels. Spine stays long. If you want, you can push your hands into the floor here and look for a slight cow, and like that extension that we look for in the cow. So the nipples or the collarbones are reaching forward. Keep the head out of it. Neck stays nice and long. Good. Your next inhale, come into plank here. Good. We're going to drop just the right knee here. We're going to swivel our left foot. So now the whole foot, the bottom of the foot is reaching, and we're going to turn that right knee here, and we're going to come into a side plank. So adjust where if you need to. You want to check in with your hips that you're not way back here. Okay, we're not back here. We're trying to get some not total extension in the hip, so the leg is not behind the hip bone, but we're kind of pushing the pelvis forward a little bit. Good. Bring that left arm up to the sky. We're going to stay here in our pelvis. That left foot is really reaching toward the floor. It's grounding us here. Good. Push into that right hand. Left arm up, comes up to the sky. Exhale and rotate just in the thoracic. So we're not coming into this big, huge rotation here. This is a pretty tiny rotation focused on this space here. Good. Come back center and bring that left arm, finding your candles here to support you. Left arm comes overhead toward the ear. And again, we're gonna side bend here, pushing into that right arm. And imagine our right arm is a post and our spine is just trying to go over the post. Good. Bring that arm back down to the floor, turn that left foot. So now we're in a 3-leg position. Push those hands into the floor, come back into plank, and then down into down dog. Check in with your elbows, check in with your shoulders here. Good, walk your feet up to your hands, however you get there. Let your head kind of just dangle here. Push those feet into the floor, come all the way up to stand. I'm gonna take this off for a moment. Good, come to the top of your mat and inhale those arms up again. Exhale, forward fold. Allow your knees to bend. Good, bring your hands to the floor. Bring your left foot and your right foot into plank here. Drop the knees, shift the hips forward, find your candles. And if you can, push those hands firmly into the floor. Reach those nipples toward the wall in front of you without collapsing in your low back or your shoulders up here. Good. Neck stays long. Bring the booty back toward the heels. Good. Again, you can incorporate some movement here by pushing those hands into the floor. Elbow pits face each other. Check that. Note, this is going to activate all of these shoulder muscles here. So that might be enough for you today. If you want to add on, neck stays long and you reach those nipples forward as you're pulling those hands without moving them toward your body. Good. Inhale. Come back into that plank. Good. Exhale, down dog. Good. Come back down into the plank on your next exhale. Drop the left knee. I'm going to be giving you my back. Turn that left knee so that the leg is behind you. That right foot now is reaching toward the floor. Left hand is under your shoulder, so adjust if you need to. And again, we're not back here. Booty's not back here. We're trying to get our pelvis to face the wall in front of us. Good. So you might feel some action in that left hip flexor, that left glute. Bring that right arm up to the sky. Good. Again, we're going to find a tiny bit of rotation. So we're going to keep our thoracic spine where it is. We're going to keep our pelvis where it is, but now we're going to rotate. Those nipples are going to slowly reach up to the top. They're going to not probably get to the top because we're not making this big, huge movement here, right? It's a pretty minor movement. So we're not necessarily bringing the ribs with us. We're keeping the ribs in front of us. It's just the collarbones moving. Good. Come back center. Bring that right arm toward the ear, reaching away from the foot. And find that little mini side bend over that left arm. Good. Bring that arm back down to the floor. Twist, or rather swivel that knee back. That right foot now is reaching away from us. Come back into plank. Find your candles. Down dog. Good. And walk your feet up to your hands. Push your feet up into the floor and come up to stand. Good. Grab a half roller. We're going to put it on the floor a little bit more toward us. I am now going to bring this down to the floor. We're going to do some work on our back. And this is really just some of the thoracic work. Oops. First, just got to adjust this here, that I want you to do before we get into really more focused muscle groups here. So we're going to put that roller basically around our bra strap. We did essentially the same move. You can do this essentially the same move with an actual yoga strap, and I'll show you that in a minute. Your knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. You can't see my feet, but they're on the floor. And then you're gonna hold your head in your hands. So your fingers are interlaced behind your head. Good. You might feel your core working already. That's okay. What I don't want you to be doing is holding your head up with your neck. You can just relax your head into your hands. Good. From here, we're gonna keep the ribs down. So let's actually first try what we don't want to do. Just bring your head all the way down to the floor. Feel your ribs kind of pop up. There's a lot more space here. Notice what that feels like, and then come right back up. Good. You can blow out your candle so you don't bear down or bulge. Good. And then from here, the next time you go back, I want you to just move from the back. So you might blow out candles to come up. You're going to inhale as you come back on the strap or on the roller. Exhale, come up. We're going to do that 2 more times here. So we're really focused on the muscles. Imagine your back muscles are just kind of slowly gripping the roller as they move over the roller. So on your next inhale, come back. Exhale to come up. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale, come up. And you're going to scoot down a couple inches, maybe a little bit closer to your shoulder blades, maybe kind of more in the middle of the shoulder blades. Good. Again, holding that head up with your hands. Find your low belly here. And again, we're not like gripping down here at all. We're just using it to support us, to keep our ribs from popping up. Good. And the same thing here. On your inhale, you're going to bring the spine back. Notice I'm not popping up here. Okay. Exhale to come up. Couple more times here. One more time, and then we're going to move up 1 more time. Good. This is the last time on the roller. Same thing. There's going to be much more minimal movement here. The higher we go up the spine, the less movement we're going to have. So don't expect this to be some big movement happening, and it might not even be discernible. Like you might not see it on me, or if you're recording yourself, you may not see it on yourself. So on your inhale, we're going to bring that spine back. And come up on the exhale. Couple more times here. Notice if you're holding tension in other parts of your body to avoid moving up here. And see if you can just support yourself here, right? We're supporting our low body, but we're not using our low body to get movement, like in our low backs or somewhere in our pelvis. We're not using that part of our body to get movement in our thoracic. So we're just going to do that 1 more time. Notice, like I'm noticing in my body, I'm doing some with my pelvis here. We're not tucked and we're not overly untucked. Keep your pelvis as neutral as possible. Good. Come off of the roller. You can sit on the roller or in a way that's comfortable. And we're just going to do some of that shoulder work. So if you need a block to sit on, that's fine too. We're going to bring the palm up here. So I want you to sit on your sits bones so that we're nice and stacked here. We're not arching or thrusting our ribs forward. Palm up and pulling that elbow in toward the body. So we're already feeling some activation in the lats here. Good. And you can bring it out in front of you, palm up. Good. From here, you're pulling in the entire time as you now start rotating that right arm or left arm, whichever arm you're on, to the right, and then releasing. I'm just going to straighten this up. Good. Let's do that 3 or 4 more times. This is sort of straight, sorry. See if you can relax on the other hand. So we're doing the work here. Imagine you're like trying to hold a very tiny piece of paper in between your arm and your body. Good. Good. From here, I want you to bring that shoulder blade down so you can see my shoulders coming down. I'm still sort of pulling in here, and I'm keeping that resistance as I bring my arm, reach it away from me. Good. Bring it back in. Bring that shoulder down, reach the arm away. Good. Bring it in one more time. Shoulder comes down, reach away. And I'm fighting this reaching away. It's as if I'm holding something super heavy and I'm fighting it. So I'm feeling a lot of action in my lats here. Good. Release that. Close your eyes. You might feel like when we do those shoulder rotations, your right arm might be a little longer, maybe just a little looser. Good. Let's switch sides. Bring that left arm in. Pull it into the body. So we're pulling that elbow in. We're already feeling that engagement in the bicep, maybe even in the tricep, but especially in these lat muscles here. Good. Find your sits bones. Relax the right arm. Good. Sorry, we're starting here. Now we're going to rotate, open that arm up and bring it back. All the while we're really maintaining that pull in with the arm here. Check in with your right side. Check in with your booty, your low back, making sure it's not sticking out that way. Good. Bring it one more time, center. Hold it here, pull in even more. Good. From here, we're going to lower that shoulder. And notice if you bring your whole body to avoid the shoulder drop. See if you can keep the spine relatively stable and just move the shoulder. And if you know you can't just move the shoulder, it's good information to have. Bring that shoulder down. Reach away as you're still feeling that kind of pull in. It's like there's a magnet between the arm and the body, and you're pulling away. Good. Only go until you start feeling tension. If you start feeling tension, release or bring the arm more in front of you. Good. A couple more times here. Our shoulder comes down. Reach the arm away. You can watch it. Good. One more time. Shoulder comes down. Arm reaches away even as we're pulling it in. Good. Slowly release that arm. Close your eyes. Let's roll our shoulders back. Roll them forward. Good. We're going to finish off with some cobra here. To see my computer, and I apologize for the very mediocre lighting. All right, so we're gonna come down onto the floor on our bellies. You can't see my feet, but the tops of my feet are touching the floor, and I'm gonna push them into the floor like that. Good. So I'm going to bring my forehead down to the floor. My hands are going to be about shoulder height. So they're not up here. They're not down here. They're about shoulder height. And I'm going to push the tops of my feet into the floor. My forehead is on the floor. So that's going to kind of force my chin to be tucked in, and we're going to maintain that level and that shape in our neck, so we're not moving with our head. Good. Push your your pubic bone into the floor. Inhale here. The tops of our feet are still actively pushing into the floor. Pubic bone is pushed into the floor. Our hands are very light on the floor. We're not pushing into them. Elbows are by our sides, so they're also not out here. Okay? Forehead to the floor. Pubic bone pushes into the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, blow out those candles. Feel your low belly pulling in and up. Good. Maintain that tension in your low belly. And on your next inhale, you're going to lift that head up, but we're moving from our spine. So notice I'm not here. Okay, we're going to keep our head, chin sort of tucked in. Kind of losing it here because I'm talking. We're going to keep our chin tucked in as we use our thoracic spine and all the muscles on our back to get that movement. Good. And you're going to release and drop one cheek to the floor. We're going to repeat that just a couple times, just that. And then we're going to add on. So on your own time, you can bring your forehead to the floor, keeping that same connection with the chin towards the chest, but not down, right? Inhale, exhale for your low belly pulling in and up. Pubic bone pushes into the floor. Your next inhale, bring that thoracic up. You can lift your hands up here. Good. Stay here. And we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together and release. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and release. One more time. Exhale, find your candles again. Shoulder blades come together and release. And now bring your other cheek to the floor and release that. Good. We're going to add on one more time. We're going to keep the shoulder blades together. Actually, let's keep our hands on the floor and focus on the upper thoracic, so closer to the cervical neck, the cervical spine, I should say. So we're kind of focusing on this space up here. I can't quite reach it, right about here. And if you can reach it or find something to have somebody tap you back there, scratch it. It's just like if you have a scratch in your upper back, scratch that. That's the area we're gonna attempt to move and engage. So let's come back one more time. Forehead to the floor, pubic bone pushing into the floor, tops of feet pushing into the floor here. Good. Blow out those candles. Hands are very light on the floor. And your next inhale, spine comes up and stay there. Don't come up super high because now we want the movement to come from the higher up on the spine. Good. And now we're just looking for that minuscule, itty bitty tiny movement. Release just a bit. Come back up. And release. Come back into child's pose. Or puppy with your tail kind of tucked under. Or just kind of trying to stretch out that low back. Good. Come out of that. And that's all we're going to do for this video. I'm going to include possibly another video where we do a little bit more of that other exercise, this one that we worked on today. That said, I want to keep this pretty basic so that, because we're already at 24 minutes here. I wanted to keep it fairly basic. You can fast forward through it and just find the moves that you like, but that's kind of basically what we did in our session today. So let me know if you have any questions.